When you think about it, killing enemies with grenades is a very effective way to do so. You throw it into their general direction, take enough steps back, and make sure no flying body parts would hit you in the face. Actually, I would welcome a body part flying into my face, as I haven't felt the touch of a woman in quite a while, and if it's just a finger, then I'm happy too. But that's not the problem we are facing right now. I have a desperate need to see flying body parts and exploding objects. So today I'm asking the question, can you beat Fallout 4 with only explosives? By the way, in case I sound weird, I'm very sorry. This is only my second day with a voice again. I was super sick over Christmas and New Year's Eve. So yeah, if I'm sounding weird, I'm sorry. Well, before I start the chaos, what are explosives though? Explosives are the following items. Thrown explosives are artillery smoke grenades, baseball grenades, cryogenic grenades, fragmentation grenades MIRV, smart fragmentation grenades, hallucinogen gas grenades, furry grenades, persuasion grenades, homing beacons, Institute EM pulse grenades, Molotov cocktails, nuke grenades, nuke quantum grenades, plasma grenades, and pulse grenades. The placed ones are bottle cap mines, cryo mines, fragmentation mines, nuke mines, plasma mines, and pulse mines. Technically, missiles, cannonballs, and mini-nukes would count too, but for the sake of this video, I'll leave them out. With all of this sorted out, let's start this chaos. I spread the stats of my character pretty evenly, but with a focus on perception and intelligence, as I needed perception level 4 for the demolition expert perk to increase the damage done by explosives, and science, a level 6 perk in intelligence to be able to craft certain items on a chemistry station. I ran out of the vault and straight home to Codsworth, where I exploited the game a bit by using mechanics put into the game by the developers, and crafted approximately 200 fence posts to level up twice, to put one level each into the perks mentioned earlier. So, to craft early game explosives, you need things like steel, cloth, but also fertilizer and oil. You are seeing my problem here, right? To put a long story short, I spent the first few hours of this run just running around certain settlements and other places to grab things like potatoes and mud fruits to craft vegetable starch for adhesive, stole every bag of fertilizer in the Commonwealth, and oil was the next problem. I realized I could make cutting fluid, but I would need bones for that. So I raided a cemetery every few days. But why the bones respawn is a question I'd rather not ask. It is now 4 hours later and I can finally start the run as I finally have a bit of ammo for the road. I had helped the Minutemen, but my game crashed and burned afterwards. And I couldn't reload the save file, so I had to come back to an earlier save file shortly before I got to them and had to redo the whole section. Oh well. But there is a silver lining in everything. In preparation for a different run, I had made my way to Acadia and realized they had tons of useful materials for me. So after rescuing the Minutemen, off to Far Harbor it was. After a quick pit stop there, I had to make a decision. Which faction should I head for? At this point, I had already done the Brotherhood of Steel twice. The Minutemen are a very long process and I didn't know if I had the nerves and the scrap for it. And the railroad is the railroad. So that only leaves me with the Institute, which could work out somehow. Father is just something. He's a dude not worthy of life, the pursuit of happiness and anything related to joy. But he's a dude, nevertheless. But they have grenades which teleport sins to you, so that could work out. I just had no idea how to do the assault at the airport, but we'll cross this bridge when we get to it. Okay, back to the main story. Now that the Minutemen were all cozy in Sanctuary, I had to go and rescue Nick. Something that would prove itself to be quite a challenge, as close combat with Molotov cocktails inside seemed like a pretty quick way to die. And oh Todd, it was really frustrating from time to time. Especially when they wouldn't stay put so I could easily kill them. That was not okay. Wasting 3 Molotovs or grenades on a single enemy is not okay. And I was very close to losing my shit in there. Luckily, the only thing lost in there were lives, and thankfully not my own. So Nikki and I made it out of there. But at this point, I had less than 20 Molotovs and grenades left. So once Nikki and I had broken into a house, well, The next few hours were once again used to search for materials, as the cemetery I had previously used to get bones from stopped respawning them. And that was the moment I knew I was screwed. The challenge is absolutely doable, my friends, but it takes a lot of preparation and thoughts. So I continued to go around, steal as much shit as I could, sold some, used some to make cutting fluid and then various throwables.
The next day.
Okay, it is now roughly 2 hours later. I've done some more trading and have used the good old purified water cheese for this run too. I have a higher science stat than in the first one where I did it, in the flamer only run. So the profits were there faster, and I could buy more shit instead of stealing it. Okay, well, off to Fort Hagen it is. And it was a struggle. The narrow hallways, the very accurate shots from the synths, the turrets, it all gave me a headache. And I died several times before I forgot that I have the quick saves in this game. Kellogg thankfully went down to a few Molotovs chucked into his general direction. But the synths ran around trying to dodge and all that, and it was a great pain in the ass. I used a lot of grenades and Molotovs, though before I headed out into the glowing sea, after dissecting Kellogg's brain, I had to make a pit stop in Sanctuary to make more weapons. And to get to Virgil's hideout, I just ran like the coward that I am. I cannot describe it in any other way. I ran, and holy shit, I didn't waste a single grenade or Molotov on the enemies in the way. Virgil pointed me towards the Corsa in Green Tech Genetics, and I once again spent several hours preparing to get more throwables ready. To make life a little bit easier, I jammed Mama Murphy up, and she told me the recall code for the Corsa. Thank you, Mama. In Green Tech Genetics, I was a bit more prepared because, first of all, I was wearing power armor, and second, after the headache that was Fort Hagen, I kinda knew how enemies would navigate narrow hallways, so dealing with gunners there was easier than with the synths. I killed everything and everyone in sight, recalled the Corsa, and now it was time to get the way into the Institute cleaned. For once I actually asked the Failroad for help and did not kill them at an instant. But I would do that later because at this point I had 100% decided that I would join the Institute. And then I asked the Minutemen for help to build the teleporter. Well, Preston wanted me to go help a settlement first. It would be the Corvega assembly plant mission. But instead I just killed the settlers, failed the mission, and Preston finally offered his help. Well, indeed, karma came back to bite me in the ass. Because I had fast traveled to Diamond City to buy a missing junk item, and when I came back, Sanctuary was under attack by the gunners. At first I wanted to wait the attack out, but I did that and they stole most of my junk. So I reloaded the safe and actually had to fight them, which sucked ass, and one of my settlers stole my power armor cause I forgot to take the fusion core out. So I had to pickpocket the fusion core out, and my companions, which I don't actually use, hate me a bit more for this. Oh well. Off into the Institute we go. Let's go. I joined right away and met the leaders of the different groups, and then it was time to bring back a rogue synth. Of course I died to the Fat Man Raider, but next time around I sneaked around and threw a ton of Molotovs and killed them before they killed me. The synth was taken back, I got my quarters in the Institute, and now we had the Bunker Hill fight. Since I was only part of the Institute, I decided to wait things out during the fight. I had no interest in doing anything with anyone, especially nothing that would waste my precious throwables. But during the first try, my Corsa friend died, and the game thought I was now part of the railroads, and the heavy stopped attacking me, and the synths thought I would save them. That was weird, so I reloaded a save where I had just entered the basement, and went in there with more power and attacks, and actually threw some things. Speaking of power, to make better equipment, I read the wiki and realized there is a single trader for nuclear material in Vault 81. But she doesn't always have the shipment ready, so I stopped by her place sometimes. It was tedious though, having to go through 5 loading screens just to get some nuclear material. At this point I also realized that you can get synth grenades after the main story from Institute vendors. But a few are laying around, so I'm saving them up for certain fights and moments. Oh well. Okay, so it was time for mass fusion. During the fighting with the Brotherhood and the robots, I came to realize I needed more and better throwables for this. If I were to just think of winning the battle at the airport, I needed to stock up in mad ways, probably going into the 100s for each throwable. You know what that means, lads. My plan is to scrap the fuck out of various settlements and turn them into investment places.
One eternity later.
Okay, it is now roughly 5 hours later. I spent the last hours turning settlements to farming simulators and purified water factories. I cleared out several locations, such as Vault 95 and that one fish plant to get their junk, and in general made a fuck ton of different grenades. At this point, I had over 100 Molotovs, over 100 cryo grenades, and several dozens of other grenades. Only now I'm feeling comfortable continuing the Institute questline. You see, at one point I was debating just turning my back to the Institute. By now I was enemies with the Brotherhood and possibly the Railroad too. And I was not going to destroy all 3 of them with the Minutemen that easily. So I stayed with the Institute, even though I deeply regretted it at this point. Oh well. I recorded a speech for the radio to show off that we were amazing, and now it was time to kill the Railroad. They weren't trouble at all, and since they were all in one confined space, killing them with a few grenades chucked into the awake direction was enough to take most of them out, especially because most of them wore Rex with no resistance to anything. Oh well. A ship down it is. Here you can see how many throwables I was having by the time this mission triggered. I made a hard save before entering the teleportation thingy, just in case shit went fuck. Instead of going in guns blasting, which was impossible since I had no guns. I made a sneaky way around the outside of the airport. Some Brotherhood members were there too. I quickly got rid of them so they wouldn't trigger a hellfire raining down on me. I snuck into the place where they have a generator with a fusion core. And if you throw a grenade there at the right place, you can destroy one of the shield generator things they have by the landing spot for the vertibirds, making it easier to get our robot friends in. Yeah, and then the game crashed and I had to redo the whole thing. I went the same way with the same concept and it was fun. It was great fun. I didn't have to worry about conserving throwables. I could throw them and chuck them around as much as I wanted to. As soon as the synth virus was on Liberty Prime, I spent the rest of the time just throwing shit like it was no one else's business. I was so glad I made so many throwables because it is so much fun. Liberty Prime was hacked, we got teleported to safety, the Brotherhood was destroyed. The final cutscene played, Sean died, and I proved yes, you can indeed beat Fallout 4 with only explosives. But I'm going to be honest with you guys. It was a massive pain in the ass to set up. Maybe my way of setting up the settlements was the best, but my settlers did not put as much food as I would have liked into the settlement storage. So I had to handpick most of the corn, potatoes and mud fruits myself. Purified water was absolutely OP once I had more charisma skill and could sell it for more. But honestly, most of this playthrough was a min-max simulator with some violence built in. It was honestly not an enjoyable challenge for most of the time, as the grinding took a long time, and at some points I just wanted to end the challenge then and there. But I do not give up, I carry on for you lads. All in all, this challenge took me 22 hours to beat, including all grinding, which led to an amazing 150 GB of raw footage for this challenge video. So, well, that's it for today. My name is Rexy, and this was my video on beating Fallout 4 with only explosives. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope I'll see you next time too. Bye bye!